You guys keep around with the NBA. Yesterday it was reported that the Dallas Mavericks were interested in re-signing Christian Wood to a 2-year, $38 million deal with an average of $19 million a year. And that was coming from ESPN. But today, Marc Stein of the Stein line said if the Mavericks cannot come to terms with Christian Wood, who is extension eligible until June 30th of this year, with a new contract, the Dallas Mavericks are widely expected to explore the trade market for him before February's 9th trade deadline, which, if he is traded, a team could still re-sign him. Now, we'll talk about this in a second. And he can't do a sign trade mid-season, but if you do trade him to a team, the assumption is that his agent, to avoid tampering, would speak to an executive on the potential list of teams that he could be traded to that the Dallas Mavericks provide him with, that he could get a verbal agreement between said potential trade team, and Christian Wood, that if they were to make a trade for him, he would re-sign with said team. Now, the Dallas Mavericks have, as I said, shown interest in signing Christian Wood to a 2-year, $36 to $38 million extension, which is $18 to $19 million a year, according to Tim McMahon of ESPN. The Mavericks can sign Wood up to $72 million over 4 years currently. $36 million represents the most the Mavericks can sign Wood to on a 2-year deal. So my apology, I misspoke. I thought it was 39, but it's actually 38. I thought it was 38, it's actually 36. So the most they can sign him is $36 million on a 2-year deal. The Mavericks could have significant cap space in 2025, and a short-term deal with Wood would preserve that. And Wood, when asked if he needs a 4-year commitment, he said he could not answer that. McMahon appears to suggest that the Mavericks could explore Wood's trade market if he doesn't commit to an extension, which is what we saw tonight, our man Marc Stein say. Now, we'll go in there and we'll talk in a second of potential trades that they could make for Christian Wood. And there's a plethora of them, and there's moves out there that they can make. First off, obviously, everyone's going to be like, well, they should package Christian Wood and, Davis Bertans and whoever the hell they can to go get themselves Zach LaVine. Yes, that's the easiest dream in a bottle, lightning in a bottle. If that somehow could work, yes, everyone would love that, okay? But that's not being realistic, okay? Being realistic is looking at deals that they could do, okay? And I think they're going to keep Reggie Bullock. But again, Dwight Powell and our man, Christian Wood, could give the Mavericks money to make deals. So let's talk about how much Christian Wood is currently making in packages that they get. So right now, Davis Bertans, the problem trading Davis Bertans with Christian Wood, yes, that gives you $30 million to trade, but you would have to attach a pick. So we'll look at those examples, but the more realistic deal is Christian Wood packaged with Dwight Powell, which basically gives you $25.5 million to work with. So if we look at player salaries, either a deal for Christian Wood, Dwight Powell, which you would hope you wouldn't have to do a pick, and then Davis Bertans and Christian Wood, which you would have to include a pick. Guys who make $30 million, okay, Michael Porter Jr., Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Donovan Mitchell, DeAndre Ayton, Jason Tatum, Bam Adebayo, De'Aaron Fox, Gordon Hayward, Jaren Jackson Jr., Kevin Love, Jaylen Brown, Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry, Jalen Brunson, DeMar DeRozan, Al Horford, are all guys that make between $26 and $30 million that they could trade for. Now, guys who make 25.5 that they could trade for, they could trade for Draymond Green, Julius Randle, John Collins, Mike Conley. And that's the thing. If you can call up the Hawks and be like, hey, we'll send you Dwight Powell and Christian Wood straight up for John Collins, do you do that deal? I would, if Christian Wood tells you I'm not re-signing. Another deal you could look at is, if you're really just trying to get off the money, you could try to trade for Vooch, but I just don't think that's the move right there. And for me, I think it's really, you could go out there and try to get yourself a guard. I don't know if Kevin Love's going to move a needle. I doubt Gordon Hayward. And a lot of these guys, unless you can give a Godfather offer for Shai, which is impossible, unless somehow Michael Porter Jr. becomes available, which you can't rely on him being healthy, it does make things a little bit difficult. Now, if you look at a team like, I don't think the Pacers would be interested, but if you could get Buddy Hield and like TJ McConnell, that is something you could try to get yourself a deal. Another deal is if you hit up for Eric Gordon, and if you can try to pry off Jae'Sean Tate, but I doubt that he would want to return to Houston. So that's the whole question right there. How does that work? And if you're trying to do a big old deal, that if you could and I doubt that the Cavaliers would want to do this, if you package Karis LeVert and my man Kevin Love, that's like $47 million. Davis Bertans, Christian Wood, that right there is $30 million. You throw in Dwight Powell, that's 41. You could make that work. You really could. You can make that work, send 3 players for 2 back. But why would you do that? Other deals are like, if you can convince the Knicks to give you Evan Fournier and Emmanuel Quickley, or Evan Fournier and Obi Toppin, maybe a pick, and you send them Christian Wood. Those are all deals that could happen, but I doubt it.